Hey, I'm Mike with Irwin Power, and I want to thank you for watching this video. I want to share with you what you can do and what you cannot do if you're a handyman in the state of Florida. And before we get started, I'd like to know, for one, what you thought of that intro music. Somebody made that specifically for my channel so that I could use it for my intros, but if I need to scrap it, let me know in the comment section, and also let me know in the comment section what you think of handyman. Is there a stigma in your state regarding handyman? What state are you from? What can they do and not do in your state? Are they strict? Is it just wide open and you could do anything you want to do when you want to do it and run your little business? Let me know. Very interested. We're strict down here in Florida. I don't make the rules, but I do have them printed off here from Okaloosa County, and they've laid it out pretty clean for us on what you can't do. It's straightforward. I'm going to make it as simple as possible. With regard to electrical work, handyman can only change out cover plates and light bulbs. That's it. With regard to electrical work, according to this list right here from Okaloosa County. Now, if you go to Google and you type in Okaloosa County, Florida Electrical Contractors License application, it's going to take you to a page that is actually going to have this same list on it, and it says handyman do's and don'ts. That's what it's titled on their page. So I printed that off. Some things that you can do as a handyman is pretty much sheetrock repairs, paint. You can do landscaping. You can do patchwork for existing concrete. You can do cabinets. You can do complete cabinet installs, as long as you don't touch structural things. Now, it does say at the top here that if you begin to do structural work or construction work that requires a license, then you've now moved into unlicensed activity, and that can carry a steep fine. I've personally seen guys get fined $5,000, and I've seen people have their what would be their new contractor's license put on suspension for 12 months right as they get board approval, just because of admitting to doing unlicensed activity. So unlicensed activity can hurt you in the state of Florida if you have a goal of getting your contractor's license in the long term. Now, if you don't care about getting your contractor's license, then there's still downside to doing unlicensed activity. You're making just a little bit of money. Might seem like a lot of money right now, but it's not going to be a lot of money when you get fined. And also, if you have a lawsuit come your way, no insurance company is going to cover the work that you did, even if you're paying for insurance, because you don't have the license to do it. And everyone knows that insurance companies do not like to pay out in the first place. The whole model of the insurance company is to get you paying for policies and to avoid paying out as much as possible, because when they pay out, they lose money. So I've seen things that are even unrelated to unlicensed work, just basic things that the insurance is going to pay for. For example, hurricane damage on homes that are insured. The homeowners have to pay us to repair their electrical services, and then they end up waiting for months just to get reimbursed by the insurance companies. And a lot of them don't have the money to be paying us to do their electrical services anyway. Nobody has $1,500 sitting around for repairs that just to have power back on after a storm. And they have to wait months to get reimbursed for that stuff. A lot of them using credit cards, taking out loans and stuff like that just to get their power back on. And if insurance companies take a long time to pay back those people, they're definitely not going to want to be paying you, the guy running around who's doing a bunch of work that he's really not qualified to do. You're providing them a big loophole. So you got insurance problems. You got permit pulling problems because you don't have a license. And if you want to pull permits, you should get a license. If you think you're going to run around and have people pulling permits for you and you're not a W-2 employee, then you're still going to run into problems. Still going to run into problems in the long run there. A lot of guys end up pursuing that license because the permit thing can be very frustrating, waiting on another party to get a permit for you, which is illegal in the first place if you're not a W-2. So contracting, things that you cannot do that are not related to electrical work on this list is install grills and registers. They don't want you installing air conditioning grills. They don't want you doing duct work. They do not want you doing irrigation sprinkler systems. They do not want you doing replace, install, or repair roofs, or changing out windows and garage doors. There's a lot on here. They're kind of strict down here in Florida with regard to handyman. So, disclaimer, I like handyman. I know some good handyman. There's some that throw me work constantly, and I do the same for them. And I do the electrical work. They do work that is outside of my scope. And there's some good handymen out there. But there's also guys who I come in behind who are doing things they shouldn't be doing. And, I'm pulling out plugs that have reverse polarity on them. And finding splices in walls and crap like that. That's not allowed. And it's janky work. So there's a stigma down here with regard to handyman. I don't know how it is where you're from, but I am interested. So leave it in the comment section. If you have questions with regard to this licensing stuff I'm about to get to, go to irwinpowerllc.com and you can message me. It comes straight to my email. I'll try to get back to you on that. But state licensing. I have a statewide certified license. Now, there are some pros and cons to both license types, but if you don't get a statewide license, you still have the option of getting a county license, and that may be the easier route for you. I try to get people, obviously, to take the certified unlimited electrical contractor's license. That allows me to do work in any county I want to in the state, and it's an unlimited license, so I can do a lot of work, a lot more work than somebody who's limiting themselves. So the county license, the upside to the county license is that you do not have to have $10,000 in the bank account to get the license. Now, you do have to do that to have a certified unlimited electrical contractor's license, the statewide. I had to get $10,000 and print off a statement from the bank showing that I had it in the account. A lot of guys don't have the ability to do that, so you might have to get creative. If you're going to go that route, maybe you have it saved up. Most people don't. I actually, to get my hands on that money and get my license, I refinanced my house and took some equity out of it, and then I had the money to start the business. So a lot of people think that you can just, I got $10,000 in tools or something like that. I got like a net worth of $10,000. They're not going to go for it. I mean, they didn't when I was at the board evaluations, because I got to hear everybody else's board evaluation. This one was done over the phone, and just you had to wait in line for your turn, and they would ask you questions about your specific application when it was your turn. And if you were in the back of the line on that list, then you had to hear everybody before you. So I got to hear people get in trouble, hear people get fined, hear people get penalized, hear people get passed, and hear all the questions they were asking. But so the pros to the county license is, one, you don't have to have the 10K, as far as I know. I know a couple people who got the county license who are friends of mine. And then two, there's less reference books. So the reference books, I've made a video where I showed you there's about 10 reference books just for the technical exam with the statewide license, and I think it's only one book for the technical portion of the electrical tests for some of these counties, and then you have the business test as well. Now, state license business test is still one book, or at least everything's in one binding, one book. But it's the same with the county licenses. But you got just a big old stack of books with regard to your technical exam for the statewide license. And there may be only one question in some of those books. You might have one book, maybe there ain't a question in it. But yeah, let me know what questions you have on this. Handyman, what you think. Do you think it's stupid? Should you be able? I've had people come at me telling me, hey, there's a lot of handymen out there that do a lot of better work than you licensed guys, because just because you can take a test doesn't mean that you're any good at what you do. And that may be true. Maybe some knuckleheads out there who taking tests, passing tests and doing some janky work. Maybe they're lazy. I don't know. But I would definitely rather have the guy who is at least demonstrated the fact that he's knowledgeable enough in the material to do my work than some guy who's too good for it, or at least says he's too good for it. And how are you going to be doing better work than the licensed contractors if you don't even know what the code says, because you've never demonstrated your knowledge on it and tested in it? A lot of these guys running around in the trades talking about what the code is, and they've been doing this work for 20 years, and they're talking about the code that they learned 20 years ago, and things change. Things change with regard to the code. It comes out revised every 3 years, and I've had applicants for my company. I must have had 10 applicants come and apply for my company that everyone I talk to, they don't even have a code book, and they have experience, but they don't have a code book. It is not common for you to run into guys in the trade, at least the electrical trade, and I'm hoping that changes. I want you guys to be professional and get your licenses and stuff like that. But it's not common to run into dudes who are taking the code seriously and studying it on their own. You start your apprenticeship, you go to a job, the guy in charge of you tells you what the code is, and then you run around telling other people what the code is, and not either of you are in that code book. So I recommend going to NFPA, their website, get the code book, get you some tabs, start studying it before you go to get your exam, because if you get your code book and start learning it early in your apprenticeship, a majority of your test questions on your technical test will still come from this National Electrical Code book. And then you got another 10 on plans and specs. And, that's going to put you in a good position to pass your technical exam if you can just get really versed in this code book and plans and specifications. And then, you still need to familiarize yourself with the other reference material, but you're going to be stepping in off to the right foot, whatever that saying is. You're going to be taking a very good step that's going to work out in your favor if you take the time to familiarize yourself with this code book and plans and specs. I mean, that's probably going to take like 70 questions in your exam off the table, and I think you just have to make 75 correct to pass. So if you can get all the correct answers for your National Electrical Code and the plans and specs, then you got some wiggle room on the other books. So I'm Mike, Irwin Power. Go to irwinpowerllc.com. Let me know what you think of this subject. Thanks for watching.